Why does it seem like all these ex NFL quarterbacks that careers did not pan out in the NFL say some outlandish things about Shedeur Sanders? Their career did not last long in the NFL, but they got a lot of things to say about Shedeur Sanders on what they think he's about. You are now tuned into a brand new episode of the Simply Ball Dropping Podcast. I'm your host and the man behind the mic, K Sapp. Well, today, man, we got to get off into what one ex-NFL quarterback said about Shedeur Sanders. And we're going to talk about it right after this.
Let me put you on game. These other podcasts out here talking that shit, but ain't repping the same. It's my bro K-Sapp, chopping up topics for your optics. From politics to your cockpits. Tune in, you gotta watch this. Exclusive material for your radio, stereo, pumping high definition. Stop what you doing and listen. We smashing all competition. You better jump on this wave. Somebody pass me a mic, man, I got something to say.
Well, guys, man, I do got something to say, man. And it seems like all these ex-NFL quarterbacks that's careers did not last long in the NFL have all these negative things to say about Shedeur Sanders. Now, in this case, we have to talk about ex-NFL quarterback Tim Hasselbeck. We're not talking about Matt Hasselbeck. We're talking about Tim Hasselbeck, Matt's younger brother. Matt Hasselbeck had an 18-year career in the NFL. Tim Hasselbeck only lasted 4 years. He was a backup quarterback with the Arizona Cardinals, the New York Giants, and back then the Washington Redskins. And now you're an NFL analyst covering football, and you just said some outlandish things about Shedeur Sanders when Greeny asked you a question about what do you think Todd Monken is going to do with the Cleveland Browns quarterback situation moving into 2026. Now, we all heard what Todd Monken said in his introductory press conference when he was introduced as the head coach as the Cleveland Browns. He said some great things surrounded around Shedeur Sanders. Then he listed off some traits that, the team wanted and who the team was going to follow. And all the traits that he really listed off was also describing what Shedeur Sanders brings to the table. We saw the interaction with Shedeur Sanders and Todd Monken when he said, "We tried to draft you last year," when he was the OC for the Baltimore Ravens. He also tried to recruit Shedeur Sanders coming out of high school when he was with Georgia, when he was the offensive coordinator and also the quarterback's coach. He wanted to draft Shedeur Sanders. He wanted Shedeur Sanders to sign with Georgia. And now you got NFL analyst Tim Hasselbeck saying some outlandish things about Shedeur Sanders. Like, the Shedeur Sanders haters come in all facets, in all walks of life. But then you got people that will go to bat for Shedeur Sanders, such as longtime Cleveland host, insider Tony Rizzo. So let's take a listen to what Tim Hasselbeck had to say about Shedeur Sanders, and then we're going to follow up that with what Tony Rizzo had to say to Tim Hasselbeck, basically calling him out, exploding on him, and wanting to fight him on site. Let's take a listen.
They be building around that notion as they go into their offseason?
No, and they won't. And I mean, that's just the reality of it. He'll be on the roster because he's, on a rookie contract, or at least he'll be in the training camp roster. He's on a rookie contract from a year ago, much like Dylan Gabriel. Those guys, I would think, would add, the Browns would add, somebody with starter experience to compete, because there's just no way with just, probably what the evaluation has been of Shedeur, as a player in the pros now, as well as how he came into the league, that they would give him the opportunity to, quite frankly, I don't think he would even enter training camp as the second guy,
Wow.
on the roster. So I don't think that's how they'll operate. It's hard to become a head coach in the NFL, and if you do, you got to try to win with a quarterback. And most guys, including Todd Monken, aren't going to try to do it with somebody like Shedeur.
Wow.
I'm convinced Shedeur Sanders has a starting quarterback job in his future, whether it's in Cleveland or anywhere.
No, it's how I felt about him coming out of college. I think that I think there are things he does at the position extremely well that you need to be able to do well to play in the National Football League. I actually think that's the good side of it. I think the bad side of it for him, I just think physically there are limitations that he has as a player that I don't know that anyone is building around that. Could he end up playing in the league for 10 years, in some role as a backup and then maybe get an opportunity to play? Sure, he could. But I don't think that anybody, listen, there isn't a single team of the 32 that would look at him right now and be like, yep, I want to build around that guy. It's not, I'm not saying that to be demeaning or mean. That is the reality of who he actually is as a player and how he is viewed, quite frankly, consistently around the league.
You heard what Tim Hasselbeck had to say. And you're talking about physical limitations. What physical limitations does Shedeur Sanders have? Now, it's all right to have your opinion, but this opinion right here was more on the lines of just straight hate, because your career did not last long in the NFL. You only lasted for 4 years. And the things that you said is just basically talking about all 32 teams look at him as not a starting quarterback, not even a backup. And you went on to say that he's not even a backup. And then you went on to say that he probably won't even be quarterback 2 going into the training camp with the Cleveland Browns. So basically, you're putting Dylan Gabriel over Shedeur Sanders. And this is another clown take. Your opinion is your opinion, but y'all's opinions are coming from a different walks of life. Y'all's opinion is coming from the hate inside. Then you're talking about the evaluation of what you've seen on tape. We've seen great things on tape. We've seen things that Todd Monken likes about Shedeur Sanders. And this is why Todd Monken has said it himself in so many words that even though he did not commit to Shedeur Sanders being quarterback 1, everything points to Shedeur Sanders being that quarterback 1 going into training camp. And that's battle it out. But Shedeur Sanders is built for those moments, to battle it out and win the job. And then the thing about it is, longtime Cleveland host Tony Rizzo got word of what you said, and he went straight off on you. So let's take a listen to what Tony Rizzo had to say, blasting you for your comments on why would you even say anything like that. And now he wants to fight you on site. Let's take a listen to what he said.
Cage match at the Akron Armory. Loser leaves town. Me against Tim Hasselbeck. Let's go. Let's go, bro. You get your ass to Cleveland, Hasselbeck. I'm challenging you.
Wow.
I'm challenging you. I'm a 65-year-old man.
That's a threat.
Grown-ass man.
That ain't no challenge.
And I want your ass. What prompted him to say this about Shedeur?
Physically, there are limitations that he has as a player that don't know that anyone is building around that. Could he end up, playing in the league for 10 years, in some role as a backup and then maybe get an opportunity to play? Sure, he could. But I don't think that anybody, listen, there isn't a single team of the 32 that would look at him right now and be like, yep, I want to build around that guy. It's not, I'm not saying that to be demeaning or mean.
Well, you are.
That is the reality of who he actually is as a player and how he is viewed, quite frankly, consensusly around the league.
Let's go, dude. Look at me.
Rizzo ain't having it.
Look, brother, I'm going to kick your ass, Hasselbeck. What? Why do that? Why? Okay, for those of you who say to me, You don't know Sanders is going to be good. I could say right back to you, you don't know he's going to be bad either. We don't know. The kid didn't. Don't judge Shedeur by what you saw this year. Am I wrong in saying that?
Not wrong.
That's terrible. Now, who knows? He might be a career backup. I don't think so. But you can't make that assessment now after what he went through this year, which was total.
Thank you.
He was a throw-in. He was like he's like he got invited to big league camp.
Now, guys, you heard what Tony Rizzo had to say, his response to Tim Hasselbeck. Now, my problem is you got all these ex-NFL quarterbacks that careers ain't panned out, that want to say some astronomical things about Shedeur Sanders. And Shedeur Sanders is the only quarterback that these ex-NFL quarterbacks that didn't pan out are out there making assumptions about, out there giving opinions about. They don't give no opinions about nobody else. All their opinions are about Shedeur Sanders and their negative opinions. They don't give no great opinions, no upside that Shedeur Sanders brings to the NFL team. Everything is negative. Everything is downplaying everything that Shedeur Sanders is about. They downplaying his skills. They downplaying his physical attributes. They downplaying his IQ. They're not giving Shedeur Sanders no credit. And the reason being is these ex-NFL quarterbacks that didn't pan out are stubborn. They're set in their ways. They're jealous because their career did not last long. Tim Hasselbeck, you played in 7 career games. You threw for 1,000 yards. You threw 5 touchdowns. You threw 7 interceptions. You was horrible. Judge yourself before you can judge Shedeur Sanders. Look in the mirror. In ESPN, I think you just hire anybody to be an NFL analyst. Just because they played the game don't mean they know the game. That goes for Dan Orlowski as well. His career didn't take off. He thought his career was going to take off with the Detroit Lions. His thing didn't bode well. So you come out early in the year and you make your assessment and your opinions about Shedeur Sanders, which I thought, and a lot of people thought, came from a place of hate. And now you're backpedaling. Now you're telling everybody Shedeur Sanders is the clear-cut choice to run that Todd Monken offense. This is what I'm saying, guys. The receipts are out there. Now we got receipts on Tim Hasselbeck. So when the season starts, we don't want you to walk back on nothing. Stand 10 toes down. And I'm glad there's guys like Tony Rizzo in the Cleveland media that have never wavered on Shedeur Sanders. Basically, what he's saying is give Shedeur Sanders a fair shake. Stop judging Shedeur Sanders off of a dumpster fire that he was in last year with Kevin Stefanski. I see everybody in the comments section, #salute. Now get down in the comments section. Let me know what you think about today's video. If you're not subscribed to the channel, do me a favor, hit the subscribe button, turn your post notifications on so you know every time Simply Ball drops another hot banger. Oh yeah, just in case I forgot. Tell a friend to tell a friend. It might not be for you, but it might be for them. And this is going to wrap up another episode of the Simply Ball Dropping podcast. I'm your host and the man behind the mic, K-Sap. We're going to catch you on the next one. Deuces.
Thanks for listening to the Simply Ball Dropping podcast. Be sure to subscribe, like, and share on all major platforms.
That's all, folks.